How are you doing? Let's join. Let's sync up today. It's time to go live. Do me a big favor. Go and smash that thumbs up icon. Do it right now. It helps us out with the algorithm. And when you come on, introduce yourself and tell me where you're coming on from. I want to talk to you. Let's go. Hello, hello, hello. How you doing? Introduce yourself when you come on. I hope you're doing well today. I definitely am. When you come on, smash the thumbs up icon and introduce yourself so I know who you are. I'll talk to you. I'll talk back to you. Someone says, I like turtles because he only comes once a year. Okay. How's it going? When you come on, introduce yourself. Tell me where you're coming on from. Let me know where you're coming on from. I want to connect with you. Let's talk. Mary Barnes, Spartanburg, South Carolina. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Mary, for tuning in. It's good to have you on today. Who else do we have? Parisus. Parisus. From Frankfurt, Germany. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for tuning in. Karen Werner. Hey, Karen. Good to see you on again. Hi from Wisconsin. Nicholas 487. Nicholas, Ohio. Awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to have an awesome segment today. We have some hot topics to talk about. When you come on, make sure you smash the thumbs up icon. Go ahead and hit it right now. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up icon. Do it. Do it. All righty. We're going to let some more people get on, and then we're going to jump into this. We'll let some more people get on, and then we'll jump into this conversation. Greetings from the North American Homosexual Society. We are very big fans of yours. We would like to fly you out to Vegas on the 25th to take part and make content for our gay week. Any interest? Reba Fluff, you have no chance on God's green earth to get me to come to such a thing, but cute try though, cute try. Abel 54, what up? What's going on? What's going on, Abel 54? Thank you for tuning in. Visiting in Abilene, home of the new AI infrastructure. Awesome, awesome. Thank you for joining me. Night Vision says, I had a job interview today and they called 1 hour before the interview to cancel. They said there was an emergency. I'm not sure I believe that, and I'm so stressed. What should I do? I say this, Night Vision, first and foremost, give them a chance to prove whether or not they are telling the truth or not. You should know within the next 24 to 48 hours if they're going to reschedule the interview. If they reschedule the interview, then you know they had an emergency. If they don't reschedule the interview, you know that the emergency was fluff and that they were trying to find ways to weed you out. Nevertheless, my friend, my prayers are in your direction. I'll be praying that God would open up a door for you to gain employment, and so that you can take care of the necessary needs that you have for yourself and or for your family if you have one. And so that's my advice. That's what I would do. Karen Werner says, I'm on my phone. We'll have to transfer to laptop to get thumbs up icons visible. It's all good. It's all good. We'll at least share this feed, do whatever you can. We just want to boost the algorithm. Night Vision says, thank you and God bless. Great advice. Hey, no problem at all. That's why I'm here, my friend. We encourage one another. That's what we do. That is what we do. Someone says, are you Japanese or Scottish? Scottish. Neither. I am an African American. My father is from Nigeria and my mother is from the U.S. And that's my story. I'm sticking to it. We're going to get going here in a little bit. We're going to let more people jump on and then we'll get rocking and rolling. Karen Warner says, thumbs up complete. Thank you. See, I knew you could do it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hey, I got to get my water in. Trying to keep my water up. I'm trying to do at least 120 ounces a day. Woo, pray for me. It's not easy. It's not easy. Oh, wow. Karen Warner says, pray for me. In my rush, I took a tumble. Sorry to hear that, Karen. Oh my goodness. I hope you feel better and that you didn't hurt yourself. I pray that you did not hurt yourself. But thank you for being committed to joining and tuning in. Hopefully you can take it easy and rest a bit. That's right. God is always good. He protects. See, the Lord is covering you. The enemy doesn't want you to be on this live feed today, but you're on here, regardless if you have a little limp right now for the interim, but you're still on. You're still on. All right, everybody, do me a big favor. Share this live feed. Share it. Share this live feed. Give me a thumbs up on this live feed as well. And we'll get going in a little bit. Delano Murray says Elkhart, Indiana in the house. All right, Indiana in the building. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's a blessing. It's a blessing to have you on. A blessing to have you on. All righty, we're gonna get rocking and rolling here. I have some hot topics that I want to address today. There's so much going on in this wacky world. There's so much going on. Joel says no notifications from YouTube. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. Matter of fact, if you received the notification before I came on, let me know. Let me know if you received the notification. Candace Anderson says, my husband and I appreciate all you do. We are praying for you and Bishop Wooden and your church. We love you. Thank you so much, Karen. I appreciate that. That means a lot. I appreciate you for saying that. We feel the same way about you and your family. Alan Ware says, I got a notification. Delano Murray says, tell the truth and shame the devil. That's right. Did anyone else get a notification when I went live? I'm starting to hear from more and more people that they're not receiving it. Let me know. New York City in the house, no notification, Precious Heart. Alan, are you subscribed to the channel? And Precious Heart, same thing for you. Are you subscribed to the channel? Maybe you not being subscribed to the channel is the reason why that's happening. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is, or maybe not. All right, Mary Barnes says, I got a notification. Alan says, yes, I'm subscribed. Crystal Machuca says, I did not. See, look at this stuff, man. If my wife didn't get one, then you know no one got one, right? Nancy says, I did get a notification. All right, Nancy. Well, it's kind of odd. I don't know how this is working out and what's taking place, but this is all a big mess, a big mess. All right, so here we go. We'll get everything rocking and rolling. We will start with, okay, I see you, Candace Anderson. She says, I got a notification, subscribe. All right, sounds good. Let's get this going. Elon Musk's trans daughter rips dad for allegedly using sex-selective IVF for her. She says, I was going against the product. In other words, her dad wanted a boy, paid to have a boy, did a sex-selective IVF for a boy, but he didn't get a boy because his daughter is now trans. And so I want to get into the story that was released on Yahoo. It reads, Vivian Jenna Wilson, the transgender daughter of Elon Musk, has slammed her disowned father for allegedly using sex-selective IVF for his kids. The 20-year-old, in a scathing thread, claimed her assigned sex at birth was a commodity that was bought and paid for, okay? Vivian Jenna Wilson has previously criticized the tech mogul on multiple occasions, including a pointed remark in 2024 when Elon Musk said she was dead. All right. And so that traveled around the country. I even have a clip of that in my new documentary. If you haven't seen my new documentary before, it came out in October. You definitely want to see it. You can go to 22wordsfilm.com. That's 22wordsfilm.com. I'll put that in the comments here. 22wordsfilm.com. You can go there to watch my documentary. It's a documentary that talks about my national school board campaign as I have traveled from state to state. I have now been to 18 states addressing issues like gender theory and queer theory and critical race theory. I've been able to remove dozens of pornographic books from around the country. We've been able to strike down a transgender policy in particular in New Jersey, policy 5756. We've been able to change the laws where parents didn't have the right in states like Tennessee to talk about whatever topic they wanted to at a school board meeting. So we have bills that have been written and soon to be passed that has changed those laws. And so it has been a productive campaign. And so you definitely want to see my documentary. Go take a look at it. It's 22wordsfilm.com. So our friend Elon Musk is now being ridiculed by his daughter, Vivian Jenner Wilson. She took offense to Elon when he said that his son was dead. In other words, his son was unalived through the thought process and of the son wanted to become a girl. So therefore, the boy that he thought that he had, that he loved, that he had grown to know, is no longer in existence. And so that's what he had to say about that. And then taken to threads, Vivian put her father on blast, her father, Elon Musk, claiming that Musk used sex-selective IVF for her and his other numerous kids. It says, my assigned sex at birth was a commodity that was bought and paid for, she wrote on her page. So when I was feminine as a child and then turned out to be transgender, I was going against the product that was sold. Okay, that's the argument of Elon Musk's child. My dad wanted a boy. I turned out to be feminine. So therefore, my dad is not happy with me, and I'm not happy with my dad because I disagree with the sex that God gave me, okay, at birth. And so therefore, I want to be something different. And so it's a terrible situation going on right now. Vivian added, the expectation of masculinity that I had to rebel against all my life was a monetary transaction. A monetary transaction, she repeats. A monetary transaction. 3 times she said that. And y'all bear with me. I'm trying to work with YouTube. If I accidentally say she, y'all know what I mean, okay? I don't believe that a person can transition from being a male to a female. And so as the way that this is written, this article is written, I'm trying to work with the words that are here. It says, shortly after, the 20-year-old came back to make another post where she questioned, according to the article, she questioned the legality on the sex-selective IVF process. She, as the article says, wrote, how the F is this legal? Which also garnered thousands of likes after she made the post. In the comment sections on both posts, many social media users showed support for Vivian for taking charge of her narrative. You're saying that he sex selected your embryo to be male and then felt he didn't get what he paid for. His loss, the world's win. You're a gem. Your bio dad doesn't deserve you, one person wrote. Another commented, hugs, Viv. I'm so sorry. No one deserves this treatment. Sending you big mama bear hugs and love. A different user remarked and said, you understand who you are and who you have always been. Money can never buy knowing who you are. Your father hasn't learned that yet, and he never will. Someone else noted, you thwarted his egomaniac schemes in a way the power structures of whole countries haven't been able to do, just by being yourself. And that's awesome. One person wrote, oh girl, you are so out of your father's league. I'm surprised he hasn't tried to return you for a refund. You be you and be proud of who you are. All right, and so there we have it. Elon Musk is now in a public battle and war with his son that supposedly was sex selected. He sex selected a son through IVF, and the son now doesn't want to be a boy, but wants to be a girl because he feels as if he was feminine all the way from birth. And so this is another issue that Elon Musk is having to contend with right now. There are protests that are taking place all around this country where people are trying to shut him down and find ways to topple the stock of Tesla. I believe that Tesla a few days ago lost anywhere from 20 to $29 billion in their valuation. This man has lost a lot of money because of what he's doing to bring transparency to America and or to balance our budget. I'm going to type this in. How much? All right, I want to get this right. Key takeaways. According to Guinness World Records, between 2021 and 2023, Elon Musk suffered the greatest loss of personal fortune in his history. His loss was on paper somewhere around $200 billion. But recently he lost about $20 to $29 million because of his stock falling. And so one has to say to themselves, why would someone like a President Trump or an Elon Musk want to take on the burden of trying to steer our country in the right direction while at the same time incurring great loss, okay, themselves? You know, the average person won't make $10 million in their lifetime, let alone $5 million. But to be able to lose $20 to $29 million because of your position on the current economic structure in America, where we're sending billions and billions of dollars towards foreign countries, while at the same time America is in a crisis. You know, we have a debt that's steadily climbing, and we're trying to dig ourselves out of this big hole that the past administration put us in. And we all remember things like the gas prices during President Trump's first term, and we also remember what the gas prices were once President Trump left office. We all remember, you know, the price of eggs, you know, how they skyrocketed under President Biden. You know, if you kill millions of chickens, you don't be surprised that you're going to lose some economic prowess, and so therefore the supply and demand is going to send up the prices of eggs, and so we're contending with that as well. However, we have received reports that inflation is much lower for the month of February than expected, so things are moving in the right direction. Now, I would like to say that Elon Musk is a phenomenal businessman. Okay. I think that he's one of the sharpest and or more intellectual minds when it comes to being a savvy businessman. But he's a terrible parent. Okay, if his son were to come out and say that my dad is a terrible parent, I wouldn't disagree with that. Do I believe that the child should try to become trans? No. Do I believe that Elon's failure to be in his son's life could have spurred on some of the mental anguish and or mental struggles that his son is having? I would say yes. And so don't get me wrong here. Elon has about 13 to 14 different children. And he's a terrible husband, he's a terrible dad, or anything like that. Everything like that. That's true. Yet and still, as we analyze the man Elon Musk, there are things that we can look at and see and say, yeah, he needs a lot of improvement there, and he's kind of terrible in that area. But there are some things we can look at and say, hey, man, he's a great trendsetter and or role model in this area. And so this is, I believe, going to be a continual thing over the next 4 years. Elon Musk is going to be fought tooth and nail. I mean, there are even campaign banners that are going up all around the country with him doing, that salute, that Nazi-esque salute, which he said that he was giving everybody his heart by doing that. I don't even want to mimic it, because someone might take this and say, yes, Pastor John was doing a Nazi salute. So you have to be careful with that. But I do think that he's going to be fought continually over the next 4 years, because there are people who are angry with him and what he's doing. Now, do I believe that he loves all of his children? I do. Do I believe that he's taking care of his children financially, at least? I believe that. But, from bouncing from woman to woman, all of that stuff, and multiple children by multiple different women, that's not a good sign. That's not a good strategy to protect the nuclear family. And so, although I may like his politics, he's a poor representation of the patriarchy. We can say that at least. But I also want to pull in this while we're on the whole topic of transgenderism, which is going to be a hot button topic, I believe, for the remainder of this year and the years to come. There's a Texas bill that was recently filed, I believe. It says Texas bill would make identifying as transgender a felony punishable by jail. All right. Let me know what you think about that. Do you think that this is an overreach? Do you think it's necessary for Texans to draft a bill making it punishable by jail if a person becomes trans? Let me know. Do you agree with that? Put yes to the bill or no to the bill. Type that in. I want to know. Yes to the bill, no to the bill. Precious Heart says good, and then says no, just right. Yeah. Do you think it's necessary to do so? Is it necessary? Is it necessary to now charge transgender people with a felony if they choose to be trans? Okay, Precious Heart says yes to the bill. Anybody else? Don't be shy. If you just came on, smash the thumbs up icon. Smash the thumbs up icon. Share this feed. Help us work the algorithm. Joao says yes. Okay, so that's yes to the bill. Karen Werner says no. God gives us choice. Okay. Alan Ware says bill seems like an overreach. Okay. The Moose Squad DJ says no, but kids, yes. Okay, it's all right. So for adults, no, don't charge them with a felony. But if the parents allow their child to become trans, then charge, I guess, the parents in that case. All right. Sally, no children being changed. They are children and will change their minds. Cece says yes. Candace Anderson says no if they are adults. Okay, so all right. Precious Heart, choice to practice idolatry. Okay, so this is some good feedback here. Um, this article from NBC News about this topic says the bill while unlikely to pass, highlights the increasing extremism of legislation targeting trans people, especially in Texas in recent years. Okay, I'm going to read some of this article to you. It says a Texas state bill could charge transgender people with gender identity fraud. That's a unique term, a unique term and a unique way to put it. I've never heard it put in that manner, but gender identity fraud is a good way to explain what's happening. It says making it illegal to identify as trans on official documents and potentially leading to jail time. Okay, so that's a little bit different there. It's not saying that the individual can't quote unquote do the trans thing. What it's saying is, when it comes to official documents, maybe you're buying a car or you're opening up a bank account or you're buying a home, you can't quote unquote use identity fraud. You have to represent the name and or the sex that you were born with on these documents. I'm just reading the article. We're uncovering this and unpacking this together, okay? It says making it illegal to identify as trans on official documents and potentially leading to jail time. Let me ask you this. Should you be able to identify as trans on official documents? Or is that identity fraud? Talk to me. Precious Heart says it is misleading. Joshua Brown says it's called balanced spirit. Karen Werner says that would be different. To be documented would be to document a lie. See, there you go. There you go. Precious Heart says, why is this a topic? God help us. Joshua Brown says, I identify as Christ incarnate. That's funny. That's funny. You might have Christ living in your heart, but you can't be Christ incarnate. What do y'all think about that? Is that too far? Should trans people be able to reference an alter ego, an alter name or identity on legal documents? Should that be allowed? The headline is kind of misleading, okay? The headline doesn't give you the specifics of the bill. That's why it's always good to dig into the article. But, many people, when it comes to reading, they just read the headline and they take it at face value. But as we get into this, we're beginning to find out some additional information. Karen Werner says, trans must be truthful. No one should be able to present a lie on a document. Okay, all right. Candace says, no, they should not be able to do that. Joel says, and race should also be allowed. Of course not. Precious Heart says, what other nations accept this transgender agenda? How prosperous are those nations? Yeah, that's a good point. A good point. AB says, male, female, special case. Sally says, freedom of choice is from God, whether they believe in God or not. As far as permanently changing legal documents, I don't know. It is not possible to surgically change to another sex. Okay, so if it's not possible to surgically change to another sex, which that means that the individual is pretty much, changing their identity psychologically and not physically. And so when it comes to these legal documents, should a person be allowed to say, knowing that they're Ben Smith, say that I am Sarah Smith, is that permissible? I mean, I believe that's where the document is getting at, I believe that's where the bill is getting at. And so the bill, which was filed last week by Republican State Representative Tom Oliverson, would make it a state jail felony if a person knowingly makes a false or misleading verbal or written statement by identifying their sex assigned at birth incorrectly to a governmental entity or to their employer. State jail felonies in Texas are punishable by up to 2 years in jail and a fine up to $10,000. Candace Anderson says they are pretending to be who they're not. So there it is. So, hey, my name is John Amanchukwu. If I were to go fill out a document and say that my name is Lucas Martinez, should I be allowed to do that? What if all people who commit fraud in this manner say that they're trans? Should we now excuse fraud because of transgenderism? I mean, it's something to think about. Precious Heart says it is the definition of fraud. Okay. Okay, all right, let's take it a step further. Fraud. Are you ready? The definition of fraud. It says, fraud is an intentional act of deception, trickery, or misrepresentation used to gain an unfair or dishonest advantage, often involving financial or property loss. It can be a crime or a civil wrong. Examples include embezzlement, tax evasion, and false advertising. All right, so now based upon the definition of fraud, should it be fraud when a man takes on the persona of a woman and now says that he's Sarah Smith and signs a document? Is that fraud? Let me know. Talk to me. Is it fraud? Hello. Is it fraud? Conservative Texas girl says it's fraud any way you look at it. Precious Heart says yes. Candace C says yes, it's fraud. Karen Werner says fraud. Just the Cooper, Cooper, I'm trying to get that right, sorry. Gave me a fist back at you. Joao says yes. Karen Werner says truth is truth. Sally says just another way to be in women's spaces. All right, there you have it. And so let's read some more of this article. It says, Oliverson did not immediately return a request for comment. So far, the bill has no other co-sponsors, making it unlikely to pass, according to Cron, okay, according to the Houston Chronicle. However, the bill is among the first of its kind nationally and is an example of how legislation targeting trans people has become more clear in its intent and more extreme in recent years, particularly in Texas, okay? Last month, Texas State Representative Brent Money, a Republican, filed a bill that would make it illegal for a healthcare provider to treat any patient, including adults, with puberty-suppressing medication, hormone therapy, or surgeries if the purpose of the treatment is to affirm the patient's gender identity. All right? Do you think it should be legal to give a person a sexual reassignment surgery? Should that be illegal and deemed as medical malpractice, or should that be permitted? Let me know. Talk to me. Do you endorse sexual reassignment surgery for children and for adults? Should doctors be allowed to perform said surgeries? Talk to me. Should that be allowed? Maximo Cruz says, yes, it is. I agree, my friend. Should that be allowed? What do you think? Should a healthy man, healthy, intact penis, full of testosterone, should he be able to go to the doctor and say, hey, doc, at 15, or at 16, or at 21, should he be able to go to the doctor and say, hey, doc, man, I'm not feeling this thing anymore. I want to be a girl. Make me a chick. Make me a woman. Should that be illegal for the doctor to perform that surgery? All right, Sally says kids/adults should be aware of the facts that they cannot change back. They are told they can always change back. It's a lie. All right, Precious Heart says it should be illegal all the way. Treason against God, okay? Justin Cooper says, extreme thunder, what happened for 400 years? Why weren't your people strong then? Okay, whatever he's talking about. Karen Werner says adults can choose, doesn't mean it's right, but again, God lets us choose who we want to serve, but not for children. I don't mean that in a racist way. Conservative Texas girl says, absolutely. Edwards says, whatever an adult does is up to them. And it's not just that easy. Make me a woman, as you say. No, it's not just that easy. I agree that it's not easy at all. Matter of fact, I will go as far to say that it's not possible. Okay? But it's the mentality of the individual. Do you think that doctors should be allowed to perform those surgeries? It's almost like me going to the doctor and I have a healthy hand here, no issues, no problem, no tendinitis, no arthritis, nothing like that. But I go to the doctor and I say, hey, doc, I'm sick of my hand. Cut it off. Is the doctor going to operate on my hand and remove it just because I want him to? Because I no longer like my hand? Is the doctor going to do that? If I go to a doctor and say, hey, doc, man, I don't like having two eyes. I want one, you know? I want one. Is the doctor going to now operate on my eye and pluck my eye out just because I don't want an eye or a left eye? I just want one eye? Should doctors be allowed to perform these surgeries? What if I go to the doctor and say, hey, doc, man, I'm sick of my head. I want you to peel all of the skin off of my head. Matter of fact, doc, just remove my head and attach it somewhere else. I want you to do that. I want you to create. Matter of fact, doc, I don't like that my head is facing forward with the rest of my body. I want you to operate on me and turn my head around so it's facing the opposite direction, so my head is pointing in the same direction as my back. Do you see the level of insanity here? All right, so let me dig into my personal beliefs on this. This is my personal belief. First and foremost, the title of this article says Texas bill would make it identifying as transgender a felony punishable by jail. Okay, I think that a person has the right to say what they want as it relates to who they are, whether it's true or not. But if a person wants to, quote unquote, follow the fairy tale that they are trans, okay, you can say that you're trans, but you should not be able to also force me to agree and call you by the said name that you desire, okay? I should have the right to disagree with your insanity. That's what I think, okay? Do I think that it is fraudulent according to the definition of fraud, which says an intentional act of deception, trickery, or misrepresentation used to gain an unfair or dishonest advantage, often involving in financial or property loss. By definition, okay, it should be fraudulent for a transgender person to sign a document and give a name and a sex that's not true. Someone might say, okay, yeah, it's not deception. They're not deceiving you. You can tell that they're, kind of mixed up a little bit. Someone might say it's not trickery. But, as Petro just said, I agree, it is misrepresentation. It should be fraudulent because of misrepresentation. How about this? I'm not African American. I'm not black. My father's not from Nigeria. I'm a white man. Check me out. I'm a white man now. I'm white. I'm the first chocolate brown white man in the history of the United States of America. Well, no, I can't say in the history. Michael Jackson thought he was white. It didn't work out. It didn't work out well for him. It didn't work out for him. But can I now say that I'm white, knowing that I'm black? Would that not be deception and or trickery or misrepresentation? And so for me to go fill out a application, for me to put on there, yeah, my name is John Amachukwu, but I'm the white John Amachukwu. Should that be allowed, or is that fraud? And by definition, it is fraud. And so my thought is this: call yourself what you want, but when it comes to legal documents, you need to put the appropriate information on that said document. It needs to coincide with the actual birth that's on your birth certificate that God gave you. Not that the doctor gave you, not that your parents gave you or anything like that, but the birth that you were given by God and assigned by God. You should line up with that and that sex, okay? And so when it comes to these particular bills that are being pushed now in Texas, I understand what the Texas General Assembly is trying to do and what they're trying to get at, okay? It's sad. It's sad that we even have to have this conversation. Precious Heart says, you are cowards, weak. John is right. God's word is always right. And yeah, there might be some people who disagree with me on this. I understand. I do believe that it is, by definition, fraud for a person to do that. But a person, if a man wants to walk around in a wig and a dress, wear perfume, paint his fingernails, by law, we should not be able to stop that person from doing that. Okay, I think that would be an overreach. You can't do that. However, if I see that person and it's a man, I should have the right also to be able to call him a man and not feel like someone's going to sue me or say that I misgendered him. In the workplace, especially, if I work with someone who is trans and I called them by the name that God gave them, or that the parents gave them at birth, if I represent the actual gender, that or sex that God gave them at birth, I shouldn't be labeled as misgendering a person by doing so. I don't think that should take place. And so what am I saying? Yeah, you have the freedom to make whatever decision or choice that you want, but I also have the freedom to make the choice that I want to say whether or not I'm going to be quote unquote nice and go along with this fairy tale, or I'm just going to speak and tell the truth. Because in the Christian faith, we're called to do what, right? To tell the truth. And if I am going to acknowledge a person as the opposite sex, knowing that they are male, that's not being truthful. Now, do I think that we should go round up all of the transgender people who are in the world and throw them in jail and bludgeon them, demean them, all that stuff like that? No, I don't. My heart actually goes out for these people because they are lost. They are lost, somewhere along the way, they found a chemical imbalance, and it's forcing them to go against what Almighty God did, okay? God made them who they are, and there's nothing that they can do to change that. A bill can't change that. The doctor's knife or scalpel cannot change that. No amount of hormones can change that. Puberty blockers can't change that. Cosmetic femininity, if it's a guy trying to become a girl, or a cosmetic masculinity can't change it. If it's a woman trying to become a man, it's not going to work. You can't change it. All right? And if that is the case, then that individual should have the right to have their belief, and I should have the right to also have my belief as well. Okay? All right, so moving on to the next topic. Michelle Obama recently launched a new podcast. All right? Have you all heard anything about this? Has anybody heard about Michelle Obama's new podcast? Let me know in the comment section. Have you heard about Michelle Obama's new podcast? Let me know. Petro says no. Together we break change. Production says yes. Candace Anderson says yes on PBT. Joao says yes. Candace C says yes. I heard it was boring. I didn't watch it. That's funny. Brandy Demery says with her brother. That's right. Joao says, oh, he's gonna see. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. We not doing that today, Joao. How you gonna call? I'm not gonna read it. I'm not gonna read it. Not this time. I hope it don't slip out, but Lord help me. Lord help me. Precious Heart says yes. Alan Ware says, I heard about it in your video. Karen Warner says, no, I don't keep up with famous people. All right, so here it is. This article says, Fox News declares Michelle Obama's podcast a flop. Conservative pundits Jesse Waters and Rachel Campos Duffy waved off the podcast as boring, okay? It says, hours after Michelle Obama launched a video podcast, Fox News anchor Jesse Waters had already declared it a flop. It says, in a Wednesday night episode of Jesse Waters' Primetime, the conservative firebrand said he had been wondering where Obama had been after she skipped a string of major events. Okay, I think she missed the funeral of a president. Okay, his name escapes me, the Democrat president. Then she also missed the inauguration for President Trump. Okay, that's one thing. And so people are now trying to wonder. That's right, Carter. Thank you for your help. President Carter, she missed Jimmy Carter's funeral, and then missed the inauguration for President Trump and other major events. And so people are beginning to wonder what's going on. And then there have been some rumors. There's been some rumors that she is going to divorce President Obama. And so there we are. And so it says, turns out Michelle has been busy working on a new podcast. And so far, it's been a flop, Waters said. The first 2 episodes have been up all day and only gotten a few thousand views on YouTube. Half of them are probably prime time producers, but still. Now, let's keep this real. Doing YouTube and doing a show and trying to create a following and all of those things, it's not an easy task. I don't have the notoriety of a Michelle Obama. All right, I don't have the notoriety of a Jesse Waters. I don't have the notoriety of many people who have big names or anything like that. I don't have a YouTube account with 1 million followers. I don't have it. I have about 44,000 subscribers, and it's been hard trying to grow a following because most of the time I feel like I'm suppressed. I make content, we put it out, it's not viewed, it's not seen. I know what suppression looks like in the social media world. I'm on Instagram. I have 142 or 43,000 followers there, but I've been suppressed heavily on Instagram. You know, I should have close to 800,000 to 1 million followers by now on Instagram. The same thing on X. I have about 120,000 on X. I should have close to 800,000 or a million on X by now. And so I know what suppression looks like and all of those things. But when you are a former first lady, married to someone as popular as President Obama, I mean, one would think that if you launch a podcast that you're gonna, out the gate, have hundreds of thousands, if not a million views when you're getting started. You know, you would think that. So Jesse Waters and his team, they're labeling it as a major flop. Dovak Ironfire says, brother, you are being suppressed, but with those of us who love your content and support your message, it will be seen if it takes us twice as long to get it out. Hey, thank you for that, because I know for sure that I am being suppressed. I should have, 200 to 300 to 400,000 subscribers on YouTube at least. But I make content, I post the content, no one sees it. It's as if the content goes into the abyss. But hey, that's how it is. But for Michelle Obama, that shouldn't be the case. For her to make an episode or two, we should expect for her to get 100,000 plus or a million views. Michelle teamed up with her basketball executive brother to launch IMO with Michelle Obama and Craig Robinson. It says a weekly show where they'll be joined by guests to answer viewers' questions and share personal anecdotes. It's produced by Higher Ground, the media company Michelle and former President Barack Obama founded in 2018. Okay? The show's first two episodes, including one featuring actress Issa Rae, were released on Wednesday. By late evening, both episodes had only garnered about 21,000 views on YouTube, though the show was rated favorably by thousands of listeners on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. The episodes included stories about how Michelle had to train the former president to get ready on time, and how their daughters, Sasha and Malia, hated the White House tradition of pardoning turkeys for Thanksgiving. Fox News personality Rachel Campos Duffy joined Waters to dismiss the show as boring. This would have been such interesting stories about 15 years ago, she said. I don't care about any of these stories. I didn't even find them funny. Waters also speculated whether the podcast was Michelle's way of dipping her foot into politics, as Campos Duffy noted that liberals like California Governor Gavin Newsom have been making forays into the popular medium. Gavin Newsom recently launched his new show, and he did his first segment with Charlie Kirk. And I've heard a lot about that and seen a lot of fiery clips from it and things of that nature. And so I guess this is the new thing for the Democrat Party, for people who might be considering a run for the presidential Oval Office in 2028. Maybe this is what's next. Maybe Gavin Newsom is doing the same thing, and maybe Michelle Obama is doing the same thing. And so they're just trying to test the waters and trying to build a following as a means of doing so. It says liberals have been wanting to break into this podcast meeting for a long time, Campos Duffy said. Conservatives have been so successful at it. It's basically what helped Donald Trump ride into the White House, showing just who he is, and liberals can't seem to break into it. So now liberals are trying to mimic what President Trump and other politicians have done. As they have run for political office, they have built podcasts and media outlets. President Trump was on The Apprentice for a while. And so there you have it. Let me ask you this question. Do you think that Michelle Obama is going to run for office in 2028? Let's put that out there. I want to know. As we prepare for our wrap up, let me know. Is Michelle Obama planning to run for office? Do you think that's what this podcast is all about in the first place? A campaign and an opportunity for her to run for office? Someone says, hopefully not. Candace Anderson says, no, sir. Brianna Grant says, I hope not. Brandy Demery says, yes, it is. Randall Munson says, okay. There we go. I'm trying not to do this thing, man. I'm trying not to do it. Randall, why you doing me like that, man? I'm trying to be good, man. I'm trying to be a devout Christian. You know, I'm a pastor. I'm a leader. I can't be calling Michelle Obama Michael and Big Mike. I can't do that. I can't do that, man. Someone else says it really doesn't matter. Edward Oberon says it doesn't matter. Candace C says, maybe if they don't have anyone by 2026, I think she'll run in 2028. All right, so just be prepared. Be prepared, you know. Randall says, not your fault. Odin led you there. Teresa says, sad. Joel says, I don't think Democrats will go with the woman again. Conservative Texas girl says, I disagree. 78 million Americans decided that they had enough of being taken advantage of. Donald Trump was just making himself available to get on a personal level. Brendan says, watching from New Guinea, just tuned in. Hey, thank you so much, Brendan, for tuning in. And so this is where we are. All right. We've dealt with these stories today about Elon Musk and his, child by the name, his new child that converted by the name of Vivian, who's angry with him because, dad didn't get what he paid for when he paid for the IVF. Dad wanted a boy, but the boy is no more, and the boy is now supposedly a girl. Okay. And then we have the story of the Texas bills that are being drafted where they're trying to make it illegal for a person to commit fraud, which is also to use deception or trickery or misrepresentation on legal documents, okay? And now on to the story of Michelle Obama's podcast. I don't know what's going to come of it. I don't know. I do think that she's a gifted orator. I do believe that, okay? She does have charisma behind a microphone. We saw that at the DNC. She does have that. Barack Obama had that kind of it factor with his delivery, okay? Do I agree with what they stand for? No. Do I support their policies? Not even close. Do I think that they have been deleterious and detrimental to the upward mobility and the health of our country? Yes, I do. But, when it comes to running for political offices, people are looking for likability. And there are a group of people out there, for some reason or another, I'm not one of them, who gush and they get overwhelmed and they get bubbly inside when it comes to the Obamas. Not me, but there are many people out there who feel that way. And so as we see what's going to happen over these next 4 years and where things will go in 2028, I personally do think that Michelle Obama is going to run. I do. I do think that one of the things that they're going to do over the next 3 to 4 years is further divide America on the basis of race, to weaken the Republican Party, all right? And to set things up to regain the black vote that the Democrat Party lost because, especially amongst men, because there was a strong number of black men who voted for President Donald J. Trump. I think close to 25 to 28% of black men voted for Trump. And so they have to regain those numbers. Hence the reason why Obama was berating and bludgeoning and was throwing a hissy fit at black men at barbershops around the country as he would go and speak there, folding his arms and waving his finger and doing things like that, because he was upset, because he said to himself, man, why are you Negroes? Why are you black folks supporting President Trump? Trump is supposed to be a racist, you know, and so we can't support Trump because he's a racist. And, you know, everyone likes to call Trump a racist, but Jesse Jackson didn't call him one when he gave him free real estate space on Wall Street. Reverend Al Sharpton didn't call him one when he was writing checks to support his initiatives. When he hung out with Don King and Muhammad Ali, and when he was best friends, you know, best buds with Oprah Winfrey, she didn't call him a racist then. When Whoopi Goldberg liked him, he wasn't a racist then. But all of a sudden, the Trumpster runs for political office, not as a Democrat, but as a Republican. He's now a racist. I'm not buying it. You might buy it, but I'm not buying it. Thank you so much, my friends, for tuning in. Let me know in the comment section, am I right or am I wrong? Am I weak or am I strong? If I said something that you disagreed with, let me know in the comment section. Respond to me, reply to me. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you, my friends, and God bless America. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you. Subscribe to the channel too. Don't forget to do that. Subscribe, 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 so that I can have more views than Michelle Obama. That's just a joke, y'all. That's a joke.